How's that? Can everybody hear me now? Are we good? Okay, I got a bunch of yeses. Okay, long story short, we'll get on to this. Was Master Freed challenged everybody at the Seaway event in Anaheim to do something more than what they were doing. So I had about a 6-hour drive home. I drove home. I don't even think I listened to the radio. I kept thinking to myself, I didn't want to do the same thing that I was always doing because it wasn't working. I was doing what I thought everybody else was doing, and it seemed to be working for everybody else, but not for me. So what I did was I went back to the basics, and that's where the title of my presentation is. My marketing sucked until I stopped spending money. I stopped making everybody else responsible for my marketing, and I became responsible for it for myself. With that, I took myself from 70 students to 135 students since February, and I'm partnering in 2 more schools, August the 1st. I'm opening up an additional school that's going to be very community service oriented in November, and then I will be opening up an additional school in another area of Phoenix in March. So I will have 5 schools in about 6 months. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I think it's all just simply because I decided to hold my own space and not try to copy other people. So the key to successful business is visibility. Becoming visible is only the first highway to travel on your route to success. The secret to stable and long-term success is image marketing. You have to invest in your image. You can be a superstar, but if no one knows you exist, potential customers will never find you. But before you spend money on marketing and advertising and one more scheme, because I mean a lot of us go to martial arts super shows, we do a lot of stuff, you gotta answer a couple questions. The first one is, have you ever asked yourself why another school down the street seems to be getting more students than you have, and you know you've got a good product? What's wrong with what's going on? The idea that image is more important than substance has been recognized since mankind has become civilized. Even tribal societies wore trophies of their hunting conquest around their neck to show their proudness to other members of society. It isn't enough to be a great hunter in the village. The entire village must know that you're the best hunter. These are the questions that you have to ask yourself so that you can become the best hunter. You have to ask yourself who, what, when, where, why, and how. Now, I know this seems really simple for all of us. We're all out of high school, or most of us are out of college. And it seems like even a 5th grader can do it, right? Wrong. I have a graduate degree, and I really forgot to go back to the basics. But once I did, it made a huge difference in everything that I was doing. Okay, we're going to start with the first slide. Who? Who are you professionally and who are you personally? Those two didn't make my slide because I wanted to talk about a minute. You know, professionally, what's your image? What does people think that you are? Do you always look that way when you go out into the community? Do you always behave like that? Who are you personally? What do you stand for? Now, the next thing that we have to talk about is, are you personable? For the longest time, I thought personable meant being friends with all of my students, and it doesn't. You have to be friendly but not friends, because the more people know you, the less they're going to want to spend money with you. The less they're going to want to help you out because they can put you on the back burner. Unfortunately, people treat the people that they like the best the worst, so it's really important to maintain that distance of professionalism. What is your unique selling point? This is what I call about holding your space. What is your space? What is you? What makes you different than everybody else? My unique selling point is I'm a community service-based school. So that leads to my elevator speech. An elevator speech, if you don't know, is a 15-second commercial about who you are. That's what you can give in the line at the grocery store. That's what you can give at the car wash. That's what you can give when you're picking your kids up from school. It's real important that you have your elevator speech, and it has to be consistent. It has to be the same thing that you always say about your school, and that has to include your unique selling point. In 1819, Washington Irving wrote, "In civilized life, where the happiness and indeed most existence of man depends so much on the opinion of his fellow man, he is constantly acting a studied part. We have to have a developed, studied kind of a role that we present to the community. Our business persona. And we have to make sure that our business persona matches our personal persona. Now, I want to define the difference between persona and image equity. Persona is almost a living, breathing kind of a thing outside of you. It's what you've decided that your school is going to be. You do the research. After this, you'll have the information to research it, you develop it, you create it, and before long, it becomes like its own entity that is independent of you. If you don't want our school to become instructor focused, because then if we're gone, our school fails, we want it to have its own character. None of us have ever met the guy that started McDonald's or the guy that started Walmart, but we all know that Walmart has its own persona and McDonald's has its own persona, and it doesn't need the founders of it to do that, for you to understand what it's all about. So your business persona is just exactly that. Now, your personal persona should match it. Your image equity is how much value the image that you've created in that persona has in the community. When you walk into the room, does everybody say, oh, there's that community service karate school. That's that place that does all that stuff for the community. That's your image equity. Remember, everything that you do, you say, and you present can add or take away from your image equity. And equity, just like in a house and just like in everything else, is really, really important. You want to guard your equity. Right now, before we go any further, I would like everybody to list 6 descriptive words just in the next 60 seconds that describes black belt for you. What are they? What are the things? How would you describe black belt if someone said, what's a black belt? Give me 6 words. All right, focus is good. Absolutely. Achievement, discipline. Right. Respectful, knowledge, effort. I can see that we all got some words that we throw out there. The interesting thing is, in developing your corporate DNA, hardworking, absolutely. In developing your corporate DNA, those words, those 6 words that you throw out there, that is your corporate DNA. That is how you portray a black belt. That's what you believe a black belt is. And since this is your school, this is your corporate DNA. This is the birth of your persona. When you decide, I would write them down. I would write them down, and I would put them in a frame, and I put them right on your desk where you can see them. That's how you define black belt. So every single thing that you do, you say, you put on your body, you put in your mouth, everything that you do needs to really be those 6 words, because that's your persona, that's your corporate DNA. Is this also your personal DNA? You really, really need to be in sync with who you are. One of the things that I found that I was doing wrong all the time was, I have a lot of friends, and a lot of you guys are on here. A lot of you guys are on here, where you guys are like these fantastic martial artists. You can do amazing stuff, or you're really high rank and you do this stuff. So I would really work a lot at trying to personally be more like all the other people I thought were successful black belts. Is my mic better now? Can you hear me better? I turned it down a little bit. Yay. Okay, thanks, guys. This is like a new headset for me. But what I found was that didn't sync with my professional DNA. I'm not a real flashy, awesome, jumping over 15 kind of people demo team black belt. I'm more of a community service black belt. So when I got my corporate DNA in line with my personal DNA, everything just started clicking for me. I have so many opportunities. I'll tell you a story later that happened last night that was really great. Mostly, you guys, the most important thing here is we need to walk the walk and we need to talk the talk, because everybody's watching us. And we are the only black belt that a lot of people will ever see. Okay, now so let's go to what? This is our research. We always have to start with some research. What is your school's vision? This is very necessary to becoming visible. Okay. You must have a strong sense of direction, which is your vision. You got to keep tightly focused on your singular purpose. Most recent corporate failures resulted when a corporation changed the direction. Remember, guys, every direction change